This press conference, the one thing that I can say about it is that Mikel Arteta is on the right tracks and he done the right thing admitting that Arsenal have taken a step back in the Premier League. And it's clear for everyone to see Arsenal haven't done as well in the Premier League compared to last year or the year before that. And it's very clear that Arsenal have regressed. And I think one of the main things that I can say about this press conference is that it's a lot better compared to the one against PSG. I can imagine that emotions were high and there were a lot of expectations and wants that Arsenal and Mikel Arteta would have wanted, but unfortunately it didn't happen. And in terms of some of the comments that he's made in the PSG press conference, I just think to myself, you know what, this is a lot better compared to that one. And although in this press conference he was still adamant that he believes Arsenal was the best team in the Champions League this year, I've already given my viewpoints on that. I don't think that was the case because ultimately Arsenal are knocked out and that's just the end of that. But I think that with this particular press conference, and maybe I'm grasping at straws and maybe I'm just praising the bare minimum, but I think it's a good thing that Arteta has come out and said this because it sends a message to the players in the dressing room, it sends a message to people in the club and all around that, yeah, we admit we've gone backwards. And I think by admitting those things and not living in delusion, maybe something can be done about it. And I think that a lot of people are Arteta in, Arteta out, very similar compared to what happened with Arsene Wenger when there was the old Wenger in, Wenger out stick going on back in the day. But the thing is that I think these are things that's just going to be synonymous with the club now. Unfortunately, we're just going to have this in and out debacle, whoever the manager is. And I think that as a fan base, there needs to be more of a middle ground when it comes to these things. And look, with Mikel Arteta, it's quite clear he's not leaving anytime soon. He is going to get next year, whether people like him, whether people hate him, whatever anyone's opinions are of him. The one thing that we can do is just rally our support, do the best we can to help the team and help the club in any way that Arsenal fans can do, and just really voice our opinions and talk about the things that we can do or what the club can do to benefit and get to that next stage, because ultimately that is where Arsenal are right now. There are a lot of concerns, especially with the transfer window and players' contracts and this and that, and I just hope that the structures that's put in place above Mikel Arteta or around Mikel Arteta can essentially sort out those situations, especially when it comes to Saliba's contract, Saka's contract, Gabriel's contract, and whoever else who might be going on a free within the next 2 years. So that's one of the things that I already want to talk about with this press conference. I wanted to at least praise Mikel Arteta because of the fact that at least you admit you know that we've regressed, because it's clear for everyone to see. I think one of the main things that I really dislike is the fact that when you come out and you just say absolute lies, you say, for example, that the Kroenkes are the best owners in the world and stuff like that, when it clearly isn't the case, and the fact that very recently the Champions League comments, I mean, these things I don't really like at all. And the one thing that I really like about with the manager is honesty, just brutal honesty, say things for how they are, and then we go from there. And I think that with Mikel Arteta, when he first came into the club, he was very honest, in my opinion. He was very clear about what he wanted and what he wanted to do. And I think over the last year or so, he's kind of moved away from that, and it's been very, I don't know, more media trained with his press conferences, if that makes sense. And I just want there to be a bit more clarity, and I think that's, as fans, that's a lot of things of what we want. Obviously we want the trophies, the majors and all that sort of stuff, but I think at the bare minimum you want to have that sort of honesty, so you know where your expectations lie and how you go into games and what you can expect at the end of the day. So I think with this press conference it's a lot better. And look, at the end of the day, no matter what people may say about Mikel Arteta or any other manager, it is a difficult job. But at the end of the day, as a fan base and as a club, the main thing we want to do is get to that next level and win majors, because it's been way too long since Arsenal have won a Premier League or have ever won a Champions League, and that's one of the main things. But I think with the transfer window that's coming up and with the players we're linked to, I mean, we're talking about Zubimendi very recently. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know much about Zubimendi, I'll be very honest with you, but what I will say is that if he comes in and he's able to provide a benefit to the club, then so be it. But I think one of the main things Arsenal need to do, especially in the transfer window, is get a striker. I think Arsenal need about 5 different players, probably a backup goalkeeper, a backup defender for Saliba, holding midfielder, striker, winger, and obviously to improve the bench. Now, will Arsenal be able to do all of that in the coming transfer window and with the budget that apparently is going around of around 300 million or so, which I honestly don't think that's going to be the actual budget. But I think just the main thing is that Arsenal really need to be smart. They need to read the market and they need to be firm with the players that they want to go for. And if they don't get a certain player, then make sure you have a backup plan, because at the end of the day, there's so many players out there and there's a lot of ways that you can make a title winning team. And like, for example, John Duran came from MLS, right? And I think it just comes down to how good your scouts are. And I think that has been a major thing that's been missing from Arsenal for a very, very long time. And they need to rely on those sorts of things. But overall, I think Mikel Arteta came out and gave a much better press conference compared to before. I think the very least you can be is honest and real with what's been going on with the club and with the situation, because at least if you identify what the problem is, we can figure out how to find the solution and what Arsenal can do to improve for next season. Yes, it is about progress. Yes, it's about being better. But at the end of the day, due to the amount of years we've been in this godforsaken project, we need to see some results, and that's the end of it. But I will criticize the manager when he does wrong, but I'll also give him praise, even though it may be very minimal or maybe just grasping at straws. I think it's good to at least be honest and just go from there. But anyhow, Liverpool, it's going to be a very nice game to watch. Nice to give a guard of honor to the champions, and to be honest, Arsenal deserve it, and there's not much you can do from that. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I've been seeing a lot of my subscribers go up and a lot of more people have been watching my channel and my videos, which is nice to see, and I'm very happy to see all of that. And I just hope I can make more videos for people to see. If you like what I have to say, great. If you don't like what I have to say, then that's also fine too. But these are just my thoughts at the end of the day. Anyhow, hope to see you all in the next video. Hope to see you all soon. Bye.